السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ۔ آج مورخہ 2 اپریل 2022 اللہ تعالیٰ کے فضل سے بیٹرسی مجلس انصار اللہ طاہر ریجن کو ایک تبلیغی سیٹنگ کرنے کی توفیق ملی۔ اللہ کے فضل سے 6 انگلش مہمان تشریف لائے اور سب کے سب جو ہے بہت ہائی فائی لوگ تھے، ڈاکٹرز تھے اس میں، اور وکیل تھے، ایڈوکیٹ تھے، اور ان کی وائف تھیں، اور ہائی فائی پوسٹ پہ جو دو لوگ ہیں وہ شامل تھے، اور ان کو ویلکم کرنے کے لیے بیٹرسی مجلس کے امام موجود تھے، اور مکرم عطاء المومن زاہد صاحب نے ان کو ایز اے ہوسٹ ویلکم کیا اور ایز اے مربی سلسلہ ان کو جماعت کا تعارف پیش کیا، اور مکمل تعارف کے دوران ان کو جماعت احمدیہ کی تعارف کی 2 عدد ویڈیوز دکھائی گئی جس میں جماعت احمدیہ کا بڑا اچھے طریقے سے تعارف کروایا گیا اور سب دوستوں نے اس کو بہت پسند کیا۔ اور اس کے بعد مکرم مربی صاحب عطاء المومن زاہد صاحب نے ویڈیو کے بارے میں تفصیل بتائی اور جماعت کا تعارف کروایا، اور تمام دوستوں نے بہت خوشی سے اس کو سنا، اور اس کے پروگرام کے دوران دوستوں نے بڑے زور و شور سے سوال و جواب کیے اور اہمیت کے بارے میں سوال کیے، اور یہ پوچھا کہ اہمیت میں اور کیا مقام ہے، اور بہت سارے سوالات مختلف طریقوں پہ کیے گئے، اور جماعت کا موٹو فار آل ہیٹڈ فار نن کی انہوں نے بہت تعریف کی، اور ان کو باقاعدہ جو ہے وہ طریقے سے جماعت کا تعارف کروایا گیا۔ ان دوستوں نے بڑی خوشی سے جو ہے وہ ویڈیوز دیکھی، اور اس کے بعد پھر سوال و جواب کا سیشن شروع ہوا، اور آخر میں کھانا پیش کیا گیا، اور پاکستانی اسٹائل کا کھانا کھا کر جس میں گوشت کا سالن تھا، مچھلی فرائی اور چکن فرائیڈ گرلڈ چکن پیش کیا گیا ان کو، اور اس کے علاوہ آخر میں ان کو آئس کریم وغیرہ پیش کی گئی، اور سب دوستوں نے بہت خوشی کا اظہار کیا اور بڑا ان کو لطف آیا ہماری محفل میں بیٹھ کے، اور آئندہ بھی آنے کا وعدہ کر کے وہ ہماری محفل سے خداحافظ کر کے گئے، اور بار بار شکریہ ادا کر رہے تھے، جیسے ان کا طریقہ ہے کہ بہت ہی جھک کے وہ سلام کر رہے تھے، شکریہ ادا کر رہے تھے کہ آپ نے ہمیں بہت اچھے طریقے سے انٹرٹین کیا۔ مکرم محترم آصف احمد صاحب ناظم اللہ طاہر ریجن بھی اس موقع پر موجود تھے، اور انہوں نے بھی ان سے بات چیت میں حصہ لیا، اور عطاء المومن زاہد صاحب نے بڑے اچھے نفیس طریقے سے ان کے سوالوں کے جوابات دیے جو آپ کے سامنے پیش خدمت ہے۔
Oh, you have attended? I attended about 3. Oh, you have attended 3 of them. Oh, that's great. So, the next video that I wanted to show the guests was basically, as I said earlier, it gives the introduction of gives an introduction to the caliphate that we believe in. We call it life devotion. It's an institution within the community. So he devoted his life for the service of community and for the service of mankind. So from the community, he was sent as a teacher to Ghana, where our community has many schools. So he served basically as a teacher initially, and then as a principal of a high school. And living as a teacher in Ghana, it was basically a project that he started, that African countries should be self-sufficient for their food projects. And for that,
today,
I'm not sure.
because you'll expect a continuation. If you lay the foundation and teach the people how to grow it,
Yeah.
you expect that to be happening. To be successful, you have to be
Sure.
continuing.
That's very
If you
true.
say after 5 years nothing's happening, then in reality you'll be a failure.
Yeah, that's very true. What our, belief or tried to do was, because there was a notion that it is impossible to grow wheat in Ghana. So he basically made a successful experiment and told the people about it, that look, we've successfully grown wheat, and it is.
When it was made.
Oh, the film.
Yes.
This film is about
The second one.
about 3 or 4 years old at least. at least. I'm sorry. Because some of the politicians their designations were shown, which are not probably not valid now.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Still, they were in those positions at that time.
yeah.
And I mean, I've known for quite a number of years how important the Ahmadiyya community is, and how it reaches out to the world, and how its emphasis is on peace. And it touches a very important part of my heart, because I'm also, my wife are also people who believe in world peace. We believe that we can establish a peaceful, ideal world. Even though when we look into the world today, what do we see? We see conflict. The situation in Ukraine, Syria, Yemen, Afghanistan, all these many different countries in which, and other countries as well, in which there's conflict. But I think we have to believe that we can establish world peace, because I think that's the ultimate destination for humanity. And I think it's very moving, when I see the Ahmadiyya community, what the Ahmadiyya community is doing. And the idea of love for all, hatred for none is a wonderful, I say slogan. I mean, I don't mean that's a bad word, but
No.
is that something to say?
It is a slogan for us, yes.
And we're part of the part of the Universal Peace Federation and community, which is headed by and our grandchildren to inherit.
Very true. Very true. That's very, very, very inspiring to hear.
So I know the Muslim. It's, I have to say, over recent years, over the last 20 years or so, Islam has had a difficult time, particularly in the West, in regard to and the problems in Syria and what have you. But I know that the Ahmadiyya community is totally against all of that. And when we heard many important politicians and dignitaries recognizing that, that it's that the Ahmadiyya community is setting the example for Islam in the world, because it's so important. Islam is so important. There's so many people in the world, who profess Islamic belief. To follow what is clearly, we understand as being the right way in terms of living for the sake of others. It's you're being excluded rather than embraced. Yes.
It's very true, but obviously you would all agree with me that when rain comes, it starts with a drop. So you can't say that you would always have to put your share and your foot forward, and then you would expect others to follow. Nothing would start without any difficulties. So every good action, every good project sometimes has to face opposition. So we believe that we will, God willing, see a day when other Muslims would also follow us, and when all the people of the world would join together for the sole purpose of peace. Sit together, get to know each other. So that's the reason of this thing.
That's right. I mean, we don't have to have, but what we do have to believe is the kind of world that we are trying to achieve, and that means bringing people together. You cannot do it where you separate people. So you have to bring people together, and that's what we believe in our community, and I think that's also what the Ahmadiyya believe in as well.
From whose hand and from whose tongue other people do not get any harm. So that's the definition which the Prophet of Islam has given.
Is that in the Quran?
No, it is not in the Quran.
Okay.
It's basically recorded in his sayings. So there are two main sources of guidance for Muslims. One is Quran, which is the book of God.
Are you a Muslim? Are you a Muslim?
No.
Are you a Muslim?
No.
What's your definition of a Muslim?
Something like a Muslim.
No, that's what he's saying. You're saying the good things actually. No, I impress.
I'm talking about a human being.
Yeah.
We should
From the perspective of the
we're all.
okay.
As I said, we don't have to believe. We don't have to believe the same thing.
To be a good human
But we
being.
do need to unite together. That's the important thing. People of God, people who believe that God is a benevolent God who wants peace to this world, have to unite together.
Yeah.
Because it is only it's only with God that we can create world peace.
And it has to come from all the religions.
Yeah.
These people have to come from all the
You know,
religions.
religion, unfortunately, in the world, it's
A committee or an electoral college, we call it. Just as there is an electoral college for the election of Pope. So similarly, there is an electoral college which includes Ahmadis or members of the community from all different countries of the world, representatives. So that electoral college remains dormant in the life of the Khalifa. But when a Khalifa, for example, passes away, then the electoral college is convened and they get together. Then the names for the new caliph is presented, and then there is voting within that electoral college. And once the electoral college agrees to the name of the next successor or the next khalifa, then he is, elected.
said that this is that, then that would be
Yeah, we
accepted.
we
by-
accept him as the imam or the leader, so we do obey him. But there is a system of consultation as well. There's a whole system of consultation in different levels. So, for example, the main organization of the Jamaat, the community, they have, a whole system, institution of consultation, which is called Shura. Sat separately.
Oh,
So
big hall with
there
old
is-
women, a big hall with old men.
So that's a kind of question which can occur to anyone, obviously, I understand that. So the reason we believe for that is, first thing I want to clarify that in Islam, there is absolutely no difference between a man or a woman. Quran says that any man who does a good deed or a good action, he would have the same reward which a woman would get if she, for example, does a good deed or a good action. So a good deed or a good action would be rewarded by Allah, and there would be absolutely no difference or differentiation between a man or a woman in terms of reward from Allah, in terms of your status as a human being. In fact, Prophet of Islam, for example, he gave this teaching, and it is also mentioned in Quran, that women, they have the same rights as men. So this is also, I'm exactly translating the words of Quran, the Arabic words of the Quran. وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ. Women, they have the same rights which are for men. They have the same status as men. So for that reason, this is just a clarification in the beginning. Then I'll come to your question as well. For that reason, Islam gave the right of inheritance to women, for example, 1400 years ago. The right of inheritance was given to women in Quran. And I know that, this right of inheritance was given to women probably in this century, even in the most modern countries of the world, even in the UK, the right of inheritance was given probably within this century. But Islam gave this right to women 1400 years ago. Islam was like the religion which declared that women have rights exactly the same as men. So there is absolutely no difference in rights. There is absolutely no difference in status. So So the reason why they sit separately is basically we as Muslims believe that women's dignity and honor is better preserved if men and women they sit a bit separately. It's the only reason is that it's an Islamic principle that women and men should sit separately, so that their dignity and honor is better preserved. If for example this principle is let's say criticized, then we would find, for example, there are separate toilets, for example.
That makes sense. But the actual fact of having
for women, there are separate
that's common
places,
sense, but the
separate,
The separate toilets. No, it just takes care of the anatomy of the two sexes. But there is definite discrimination against women, which,
if someone discriminates against women,
for example, 2 weeks ago in Afghanistan, I think the leaders went to all the female schools. And
so what happened in Afghanistan?
Yes, I'm sorry. I was going to follow that up. I mean, I don't believe it, but obviously you have the situation now in Afghanistan
where women are not allowed to go to.
Where women were not allowed, or the school children were not allowed, or girls
were not allowed to schools.
That would not be an Ahmadiyya.
No way.
So in terms of education,
because the Prophet of Islam once said that if someone has a girl as a daughter, and he gives him good education and makes that girl a good part of the society, then his place in heaven is guaranteed by God. So this is like a saying of the Prophet of Islam. And if someone has two daughters and he educates them well and makes them a better member of the society, then he is most definitely in the heavens. So we believe in this kind of teaching. So all of our Ahmadi girls, they freely go to schools and colleges and
actually what we're saying is
and if someone discriminates against women, we totally consider that kind of discrimination. Not just against the teachings of Ahmadiyya, but we consider it against the teachings of Islam. The core principle